Mr. Diaz, can you see your attorney here on the screen?
Oh, Mr. Diaz.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Good morning. The court will call case number 1203, the State of Texas versus Jaime Eduardo Diaz. This is a Sherman County case. Is the state ready to proceed?
State's ready to proceed on a plea of a lesser included offense, Your Honor.
And what would that lesser included offense be? Is it the second degree felony?
An aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. That's what I see on the judgment anyways. I don't know if it was charged as ag robbery or unfamiliar with this case.
Well, the stipulations say aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, a second degree felony. Is that what we're proceeding on?
It is, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Is defense ready to proceed?
We're ready, Your Honor.
And, sir, for the record, are you Jaime Eduardo Diaz?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Diaz, you've been charged in this case with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. That's a second degree felony. That means it's punishable by imprisonment in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for a term not to exceed 20 years or less than 2 years. In addition, the court may assess a fine not to exceed $10,000. Sir, you have been charged with this by an indictment. Do you want that indictment read to you, or do you waive the reading of that indictment?
I would like to hear it, Your Honor.
Hold on, Your Honor. Mr. Diaz, we've already went through this with you. It's not going to affect your rights. I'm going to suggest that you just waive it for now.
I can read it if he wants me to, Your Honor.
Yeah, what, Mr. Marable, go ahead and read it.
Let me pull it up. In the name and by authority of the state of Texas, the grand jury for the county of Sherman, state of Texas, duly selected, impaneled, sworn, charged, and organized as such at the July 2022 term of the 69th Judicial District Court for said county upon their oaths present in and to said court at said term that on or about November 12th, 2021 in Sherman County, Texas, and anterior to the presentment of this indictment, Jaime Eduardo Diaz, hereinafter referred to as defendant, did then and there, while in the course of committing theft of property and with intent to obtain or maintain control of property, intentionally and knowingly cause bodily injury to Dennis Leroy Mace, hereafter styled the complainant, by assaulting and choking the victim to the point of loss of conscience, and the defendant thereby caused serious bodily injury to the complainant against the peace and dignity of the state. Signed the 7th day of October 2022, foreperson of the grand jury.
Right, thank you. Mr. Diaz, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then how do you plead to these charges, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Not guilty?
That's correct, Your Honor. Your Honor.
All right. Well, Mr. Diaz, we have a plea agreement signed by you in which you tell me that you do plead guilty. Are you withdrawing this plea agreement signed by you and telling me that you want to proceed to trial?
Your Honor,
or do you want to talk with your attorney?
Your Honor, if I may address you in the court.
No, you need to talk with your attorney if you want to withdraw that plea.
Your Honor, there's been some issues trying to get a hold of my attorney and trying to have a detailed conversation. I would like to ask my attorney in your presence if they're willing to work with me, or if there's no modifications that need to be made.
let me, at this point, stop you. I'm going to, since you and the attorney are on Zoom, I will leave the courtroom. I'll ask prosecutor to leave the conversation, and we'll give you an opportunity to talk with your attorney off the record. If you, after talking to your attorney, if you still want to withdraw your plea, that is your right. If you want to go forward with the plea agreement, that is also your right. So at this point, I'm going to leave the courtroom and we're going to go off the record.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Court will go back on the record in case number 1203. Mr. Seelock, have you spoken with your client?
Yes, I have spoken with my client, Your Honor. My office has already talked with him. We thought he was going to take the offer, but as of this time, he still has some questions outstanding and would like to discuss with our office further about this offer.
All right, so Mr. Diaz, this agreement that you have signed, you do not want to be valid. You are telling me you want to plead not guilty and you don't wish to enter into the plea agreement offered by the prosecution. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. Then, Mr. Diaz, we will set this case for a jury trial and court is adjourned. Well, let me ask, State, do you have any statements?
Just that this offer won't be valid after today, so I guess it's just appropriate that the court set it for trial.
Okay, so you understand, Mr. Diaz, this plea offer is not available after today?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Then we will set.
Hey, Judge. My Zoom is frozen up, so I'm going to restart.
Come on in. You can come
Let me
in.
grab a paper. I'm here.
Okay. Are we off the record? Yeah, we're off the record. Good morning, Ms. Sermon. Can you hear me?
I'm the one that's muted. Okay. Are you there?
Yes. I was hoping you would come do your plea here so we could have lunch.
How funny. We are live streaming. I know we're not on the record.
Oh, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Well, this is a plea.
We have Mr. Cook with the DA's office in person with us. Mr. Hernandez, can you still see your lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good.
All right, court will come to order. I will call case number 6491, the State of Texas versus Gilbert Hernandez. Is the state ready to proceed?
State's ready, Your Honor.
Is defense ready to proceed?
Pamela Sermon for Gilbert Hernandez. We're present and ready on the Zoom.
Thank you. And sir, for the record, are you Gilbert Hernandez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hernandez, you have been charged in this case with unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. That is a state jail felony, which means it's punishable by imprisonment in the state jail division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for a term not to exceed 2 years or less than 180 days. In addition, the court can assess a fine not to exceed $10,000. Sir, you've been charged with this by a document called an indictment. Do you want that indictment read to you, or do you waive the reading of that indictment? Beg your pardon?
Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Sir, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to this charge, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty and not for any other reason?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Has anyone threatened you or pressured you in any way to get you to make that plea?
No, Your Honor.
Right, Mr. Hernandez, I have a document in front of me called a felony plea of guilty waiver stipulation and judicial confession. Have you gone over this document with your attorney?
Yes, I have, Your Honor.
And it appears to have your signature on it. Is that your signature?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right, Mr. Hernandez, since you've gone over this document with your attorney, I assume you will agree with me and understand that in this document you're waiving certain rights you have, such as the right to a trial by jury.
Yes, Your
Is
Honor.
that correct? And also you are stipulating or you're agreeing that all of the evidence the state has against you is true. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Hernandez, do you believe that you're mentally capable of understanding everything that's going on in court today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Sermon, have you consulted with your client and advised him of his rights?
I have, Your Honor. He has been incarcerated during the time that I've been working with him. And I just want the court to understand, I never went over the video evidence with him, but he had 2 or 3 lawyers before me, John King, Tim Sally, and they went over the video evidence with him. So he has seen the discovery in this case.
All right, thank you. So you have advised him of his rights, though?
Absolutely. We've talked on more than one occasion.
And do you believe him to be mentally competent?
I do. He's been able to assist me in every way.
Do you approve of him signing these stipulations before the court today?
I do, Your Honor.
And does the state concur?
State concurs, Your Honor.
Mr. Hernandez, I am signing these stipulations, and I will enter them into the court's record as State's Exhibit Number 1. Mr. Cook, is there a plea agreement in this case?
There is, Your Honor. In exchange for the defendant's plea of guilty, the state has agreed to recommend to the court that the defendant be sentenced to a period of confinement with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice State Jail Division for a period of 12 months. No fine to be assessed against the defendant. However, the defendant to pay any court fees and costs in the bill of costs attached to the judgment. And as noted on the judgment, the defendant has earned jail time credit of 1 day for this particular offense in this case.
Mr. Hernandez, you've heard the district attorney's office announce a plea agreement. Is that the plea agreement that you reached with them?
We're gonna go down right here in this county, since I came off my bonds, I've been here.
I know. Sir, can you repeat that? We can't understand you. You're breaking up. Is that,
Since I came off my bonds.
can you step closer to the microphone, please? Can you,
Yes,
yes,
I was attorney that as soon as I got off my bond, I was gonna, my time would start, my year sentence would start going. So, I was wondering if it was gonna be like that,
okay, wait a second, sir. Your attorney's holding up her hand. Ms. Sermon?
When we started this plea agreement, it had 1 day credit. Mr. Hernandez has been in the Des Smith County Jail since the 1st of October, but we were unable to get his bond company to come off his bond until it was Thanksgiving before they finally sent their paperwork in. And so that he should have some credit, either the 2 months he's actually been there or since the bond company came off. And I intended to talk to the jail today to find out exactly when he came off that case. Or your county clerk would know. That's where it is, when that bond was served, that warrant. But we're asking, we'd like to have the credit back to October, but for sure back to the bond coming off.
yes, sir.
Okay.
State would only agree to credit served after the bond company came off of the bond. He's in Des Smith County on different charges, I believe. So That jail time credit would not apply in this case, but certainly if they did come off, and I think the last time I had spoken to Judge Sermon, former Judge Sermon, that the bond company was still on, so we hadn't included that time. But if they did come off at Thanksgiving, then I think he's entitled to the time after Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Mr. Hernandez, I will follow the recommendation of the district attorney's office, and I will find you guilty of the offense of unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. I will sentence you to 12 months confinement in the State Jail Division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. I will not order any fine, and I will note that you're entitled by law to all jail time credit that you have. Sounds like your attorney and the state need to find out exactly when you came off the bond, but whatever that is, you're entitled to it.
Okay.
Is there anything further from the state?
Yes, Judge. I'll just say that I'll work with Judge Sermon on getting the first page of the judgment corrected, correct time credit. I don't think that'll affect any of the other documents that she submitted to the court already on this case. And that's all from the state, Your Honor.
Anything further from the defense?
Your Honor, I agree with Mr. Cook. And Cook, if you can look and see what the warrant date is, I am fine with you striking the 1 and adding whatever the correct day is. If you'll just email it to me so I'll know what it is and I can share that with Mr. Hernandez.
Understood. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. If there's nothing further from the state or the defense, court is adjourned.